8:32 now. Welcome back to Cheyenne Today, brought to you by Black Hills Energy. Carrie Hayden alongside with you this morning, along with News Director Jared Schaefer. He's sitting in with me as well, as we welcome from the Fat Boys Tire and Auto phone line this morning, Senator John Barrasso, all the way from Capitol Hill. Good morning, Senator. How are you today?
Good. Great to hear your voice, Carrie. I saw you at a Wyoming football game, one of the home games that we won.
Yes.
Because we won them all. It was terrific. And then that bowl game was just outstanding. I texted the coach afterwards. He texted me the next morning. So exciting.
And Senator, were you able to go to that Arizona Bowl?
No, we weren't able to go. And we watched every single play on television, yelling and screaming. You know, it's one of those that you'd have, as Wyoming fans know, you have 4 heart attacks and a stroke before it's over. But boy, oh boy, that field goal kick, he was the player of the game right at the end, was enough to make every Cowboy fan just smile.
I think it was. Yeah, you're exactly right there, Senator. Well, Senator, I know you visited the border recently, talking a little bit about border security. If you don't mind kind of diving into that a little bit, what's the update with that? I know we're way up here in Wyoming, but a lot of folks wondering what's going on there at the border.
Well, every state is a border state now. When you take a look at what's happening in the sheer number of illegal immigrants into the country, over 8 million so far. And it is chaos and crisis at the border. I was there with Ted Cruz and a couple of other senators. We did a midnight patrol. People are coming from all over the world. This is a complete surrender by the Biden administration of our southern border. This is our country. We have a right to protect it. And this president, these are open border people. I just don't think at all the way that they do. We went on a midnight patrol and came upon a group of migrants coming in, and we were asking them questions. They had to have translators there. 3 of them were from the country of Moldova. You know, people have come from 150 different countries. And you know how many countries they had to go through to get to the border of the United States from Moldova? Lots. And so they should be stopped along the way, and so they're not going to be able to get into the United States. But the problem is what the administration is promising is free entry, free airfare, free hotel rooms. It's a magnet, and that's why so many people continue to come. We got to cut this off, stop them in their tracks, send them back. The next day, interestingly enough, we did a horse patrol. We went with the Border Horse Patrol and did that. Rode along the Rio Grande. Again, the same thing where the migrants are coming across the Rio Grande River. It's chaos because the numbers are so large and people aren't being sent back. You saw the other day on the news that the head of Homeland Security, who continues to lie to the American people and lie to Congress, said 85% of the people coming are being left in. Well, we know people that are left in who are on the terrorist watch list, the people that have criminal records. People are getting away and getting into the country. So we're very concerned about all of this, and that's the big fight we're having in Capitol Hill now, trying to stop this administration from ignoring the laws of the United States. The memory that I have the best is on this horse patrol. The director of the horse patrol, the border patrol agent, he and I are talking, and I have my shirt on because I'm always broadcasting Wyoming and promoting Wyoming. I have a shirt on, this Wyoming bucking bronco, the logo. And he said, "Are you from Wyoming?" I said, "Yeah, Senator from Wyoming." We, shook hands. He said, "Oh, I grew up in Torrington, went to Torrington High School, went to Eastern Wyoming College." He said, "As soon as I retire, I'm coming back to Wyoming. It's much better there."
Oh, wow.
And that was, to me, the highest.
So what's Senator, at the border, what's the solution? What does the GOP want to get done? Or what would like to see happen?
Well, sure. I'd like to return to the policies that President Trump had in place. The Remain in Mexico policy. The difference is that people had to wait in Mexico to say that, they have the magic words of that they're fearful for their life, and then they get let into the country. Biden pardons them into the country, not pardons, but allows them to come into the country and wait. And then they get a date to go to court, maybe 8 or 10 years from now, and they're never going to show up to then plead their case of why they say that their life is at risk. And I think those people ought to be waiting on the other side of the border and not being allowed into the United States until they plead their case there. They should have to go to their first safe country. So few of these people coming in to the United States are actually Mexican citizens, but they're coming through Mexico and they're paying the cartels. So we have Joe Biden who surrendered to the cartels, to the drug dealers, to the people on the terrorist watch list because of his open border policy. And he announced it while he was, his first day in office, when he signed a number of executive orders reversing the things that we knew worked under President Trump.
Senator, let's talk a little bit about inflation. At least here in Wyoming, we're kind of seeing gas prices come down. Statewide average, I want to say $2.70-ish. Are policies working to bring down the price of goods?
Well, gas prices are down. Grocery prices are still up. People are still paying about 17% more now for things around the state of Wyoming than they did the day that Joe Biden came into office. He is still going to be forever known as the president of high prices. And what does he do? He goes and asks Saudi Arabia to produce more energy. Why not use it? American energy, Wyoming energy. We are America's energy breadbasket, and yet the president and his administration continues to attack and be bad for American energy. He told his EPA to prioritize climate over energy that is affordable, available, or reliable. And we have it all over the state of Wyoming. They have broken the law. They're not doing the drilling permit sales that they have to be doing by law, and they just refuse. I mean, this is the problem with this administration, and they apologize for America. They open the border to all of these folks who are flowing in from all around the world, and which is why I'm doing everything I can to say 4 years. We cannot afford another 4 years of Joe Biden's failures for our country. The American people deserve better. Wyoming wants something much, much better.
And then coming up next week, I believe the 17th, the end of the public comment period for that Bureau of Land Management Rock Springs plan that's out there. Have you heard any developments on that?
We're fighting them all of the way because this is ground zero. What's happening right now in Sweetwater County. I've been talking to the county commissioners, folks in that area. This is the goal of this administration, to basically take and shut down public lands. And that what they're doing there, they want to shut down millions of acres of public lands from, these people want us, the people in the administration, these coastal elites, they want Wyoming and people like us and think like us to just dry up and blow away. They don't want energy development. They don't want grazing of cattle. They don't want timbering. They want none of us. And these are people that have no full understanding of what we do. Mike Enzi, my friend, used to have a book that he talked about. Now I've taken over that role, and it's called The Hidden America, the cowboys and coal miners who make America work. And this is talking about Wyoming people, but people like us from all around the country that do the work of providing the energy and providing the food, and the administration is going after us in every way they can. I'm not so sure that they even understand who feeds America. They think it's Grubhubby or DoorDash or get it from the grocery store. Don't understand where the food comes from, where their energy comes from. And this is the big problem and the fight that we're in. And it's a fight for the heart and soul of America.
Senator, you had recently endorsed President Trump for next president. Talk to me a little bit about that. What was your choices behind this endorsement?
Well, people of Wyoming understand fully, and they hear it every weekend, that we were better off under President Trump. That Joe Biden has continued to fail the American people. With President Trump, we had the strongest economy in my lifetime. We were energy independent. Our enemies feared us. We had a secure southern border. And now with Joe Biden and the Democrats, we have record high prices. He's begging our enemies for energy. He's surrendered the southern border to now over 8 million illegal immigrants, and we just can't afford another 4 years of this kind of failure. If we want to get America back on track, I believe that we need a conservative Senate and a conservative House, and we need Donald Trump in the White House, and that's why I've endorsed Donald Trump for the next president of the United States.
Okay, well, while we're on the subject, Senator, 2024 run, when it comes to you and your position in the Senate, any announcements that we can expect for that?
Well, I'm going to continue to do the job that the people of Wyoming have elected me to do, fighting for them, fighting for us, fighting for our future. That's what it's all about. I'm not stopping, not slowing down, and continuing to do what I do each and every day, get home every weekend, travel the state. I hope to be home in Wyoming Thursday night. I was there Monday morning, and we'll be traveling the state this weekend. There's activities in Casper. There's a health fair, and I've been the medical director of the Wyoming Health Fairs for many years. The health fair is going. I'll be there. I'll be visiting around the state, going to Torrington on Monday to talk at the Rotary Club. I do that just about every year, that early in the year, and kick off the year at the Rotary Club in Torrington. And I'm going to continue traveling the state, visiting with people, and doing the job I was elected to do.
So we'll kind of stay tuned for that, Senator. I know the at least the partial government shutdown, I want to say the 19th, next Friday, and then there's another date there in February. Any developments that you're hearing from maybe House Minority Leader, it's not Chuck Schumer, he's the Majority Leader, Mitch McConnell. Any developments on that, on this front?
Well, to keep the government open, we should do 12 appropriations bills. That's the way it's supposed to work. And we've gotten 12 appropriation bills out of the committee in the Senate, and Chuck Schumer's only brought 3 of them to the floor. He doesn't want to do that. He's trying to cause more distress, and he wants to do a big omnibus bill, which I'm opposed to. We need to do individual appropriations bills. We've gotten bipartisan ones out, and then of course the House has to do the same thing, and then go to conference and get those to the president to sign. I think it's important that we get back to the traditional way of governing. I don't think anybody, certainly people in Wyoming, don't benefit by a government shutdown in terms of what we need to do for our tourism, for our agriculture, for our energy. None of us benefit economically from a government shutdown.
I was just going to ask, Senator, I know that you, along with Senator Cynthia Lummis, participates in those teletown halls. It's a great opportunity for you guys to kind of enact with the residents here in the state of the Wyoming. I was just curious, what are some of those questions that you're hearing from residents, some of the top main concerns? I know you mentioned the border, Senator. I know you mentioned Bidenomics, as you call it. But what are some of those other, questions that those folks here in Wyoming have for you and Senator Cynthia Lummis?
Yeah, and you're right. They work very well. It gives us a chance to listen to people, and it's kind of a town hall meeting with all of the towns involved. And we try to take calls from different parts of the state. And it's the issues. The number one thing that people are concerned about is the economy, inflation, the high cost of things. The number 2 is the border and the impacts of that. People are mostly concerned about what's happening in their communities. The RMP in Rock Springs, the Sweetwater County, that was a big part of the last one. We'll have another one this month. Not sure exactly the date because we have to work it around voting schedules. We'd hate to interrupt one to go have to take a vote on some things, so we often don't know until the day that we're going to do it. But the beauty of it is you have people from all around the state weighing in on issues and how it affects them personally. And you get into game and fish issues, different issues about the Endangered Species Act, the grizzly bear, the wolf, and things that are really Wyoming and Rocky Mountain specific. And we talk about the Endangered Species Act. But, the environmental extremists have used the Endangered Species Act and used things like the grizzly bear and the gray wolf as their cash cow, as their golden goose, because they raise money off of that. Have no idea what it's really like and the impact that they have on our livestock, on our wildlife, on hunting, on agriculture. And those are the fights that we're in. And the idea of the Endangered Species Act was it's been in the news a lot because I think it's just been the 50th anniversary of it. The idea was that it was supposed to be there so that species could recover. Something was on the list so they could recover and then get off the list. Well, they made it easy to get on the list and really hard to get off the list. And now you have these judges and lawsuits that block anyone going off the list, which is why something like the grizzly bear, when they put it on the list, you could say, yeah, they were down to very small numbers. They said, well, how many do you need? It was going to be a couple of hundred. Well, now we have well over 1,000, and they've roamed way beyond their normal range that were expected, and they're causing mayhem. And that's the big problem, is that the Endangered Species Act, it's been abused, it's been putting species in the endangered, in the intensive care unit, and nobody's getting out, even though they seem to be fully recovered. They're not getting out off of the list.
That's true. All right. Well, Senator, I know you have things to get to, so we're not going to keep you any longer. But I want to thank you for your time this morning. I know you're a busy man, and thank you for what you're doing for the residents here in Wyoming and for taking time to chat with us this morning. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Carrie. Thanks, Jared. Talk to you again soon.
Sounds good. Thanks, Senator.
All right. Thanks, Senator. All right. Stay with us. More Cheyenne Today is coming up. But first, we'll take a quick look at today's weather forecast.